What you got for
Okay,
us?
I myself am not an atheist. I'm actually a Catholic Christian,
Okay.
and just in trying to understand what it is that I mean, it's obvious what you don't believe. I guess I'm trying to figure out what it is that you do believe. Is the Atheist Experience? I might mention that this is the first time I've ever seen this show.
Okay.
Is the whole Atheist Experience pretty much just a live and let live attitude?
Not exactly. Atheism, just to get out of the way, atheism is simply lack of belief in a God. Period, full stop. That's the end of the paragraph. Anything else, as in political ideology and beliefs in the supernatural and stuff like that, that's all free game. Typically, though, usually atheists are very naturalistic in their outlook. There's no supernatural forces, there's no life after death, no psychic powers, anything like that. Morality, for instance, is a factor that we are a social species. We have to live together. You know, that's just what we have evolved to do, is live together in groups. In order for that to work out and not be a problem, we have found that it's better if we can work together to do things. If I don't steal your stuff and you don't steal my stuff, we're both a little bit happier at the end of the day, rather than one of us tries to club the other one over the head and take it and run. Again, there are actions have consequences, and we realize that if we're going to work together, the world's going to be a better place to live in.
Yeah, I have something to add to that. And
Okay.
I would think a lot of atheists ascribe to what's called secular humanism or humanism, which is basically a creed that emphasizes a lot of what Ashley just said. That we are, you know, we're all here together. There's nobody going to take care of us. We're going to have to take care of ourselves. Reason and science and technology are the best ways to do that. So those are some of the themes in secular humanism.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what about when technology and medicine and what have you? What happens when that fails? I mean, you obviously
there's no assumption that it's going to work all the time. There's no assumption that all the problems are going to be solved. So
okay, granted. So take the things that have happened, you know, events and just, you know, chicken soup for the soul stories that just pretty much can't be explained. You know, people coming back to life when they were basically, you know, their fate was sealed by whatever doctor was overseeing them. Things of that nature. I mean, does that not at all sway the atheist mind into thinking, well, you know, if science said no, then obviously somebody else said yes. Well,
science doesn't. We don't know it all. We don't have all the answers to every question ever asked. Again, medical science, for instance, you know, we know a fair bit about how the body works, but we don't know it all. From what we have seen in the past, once you get cancer to this level, that's pretty much the end of it. But again, we don't know everything. And so, you know, things do happen, we do learn. And like I say, that's what it is. But again, we can see that there are natural things that happen in these cases. It's usually not just that the only way that could have happened was God must have done it. There's usually some different explanation that perhaps we haven't found yet. But again, until we have evidence for a God, we're just going to have to assume that there is some kind of natural explanation to what we see.
Okay.
So.
Also, I guess this is the last thing I had a question on was, I would assume that because of the stance that you take in with the gay marriages and so forth, and pretty much believing that we need to work together and not worry about the frivolous things and, you know, things that don't really contribute to the advancement of society or whatever.
Well, now, let me make sure I'm reading you here right. Are you saying, I mean, the advancement of society is a very important thing. Again, we have to live in society. We have to make rules that are going to help us do that. So that is a pretty important factor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if maybe I misheard you or something.
I'm not saying that
yeah.
was...
Well, go ahead and finish your point.
I'm talking about, you know, how you were talking about there's bigger political issues that need to be looked at, other than people's lifestyles or
okay, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I did make a statement like that.
Okay, apologize for that.
Yeah,
I guess what I'm trying to say is, well, take the Catholic faith, for instance. They fund a number of charity organizations. Mother Teresa probably, as far as in the public eye, it was one of the biggest humanists in recent history.
Yeah.
And she did it all in the name of God.
Yeah.
So, as an atheist, do you at all hold any kind of prejudice against her because of why she did it so much as the fact that she did it at all?
Not at all.
I can take this. Let me answer your question, setting Mother Teresa aside. There are people that do wonderful things, and if they do them for reasons that we disagree with, then that's okay. I guess the answer is what matters. I think that a person would be more effective. A person is more effective if they know what they're doing and they know the nature of their task and what their goals are, rather than get to them by some accident. Okay, so that's how I would respond to that. On the Mother Teresa issue, there's a lot to say about her. Some things I've read have been less than flattering about her. That she, basically went into India and said, "Look at all the squalor. We can use this to get money to fix this problem." But then she ended up, storing a lot away in her bank account, and she basically glorified suffering, So there's some rather unflattering things published by folks who actually went and investigated what she was doing. So my answer here is my point here is that be careful to separate the myth from the reality.
Well, the reality is that she's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. So obviously there were other people out there that were not Catholic and that were not Christians that recognized her for her labor of love, as she referred to it. So I mean, if any one person wants to, they can find dirt on anyone. I mean, supposedly Martin Luther King Jr. was
he had a shady side too. Yes.
Yeah, he had a shady side to him. He was an adulterer or whatever, but. The fact of the matter is that, the organizations that are in place for the betterment and for the advancement of society and helping the less fortunate, the poor, the hungry, a lot of those organizations, and I would venture to say the majority of these organizations are religiously based. So in order to I don't know, I guess the only thing that I'm asking here is like, do you like, continue to take a stance against these people because of why they're doing it so much as the fact that they're doing it?
As Don said, good works are good works. Again, it's better that somebody's doing them than nobody is doing them. But we think that there are better ways possibly to go about it, better reasons. Typically, they're not doing it simply to help other people. They're usually preaching along with it. They're going to try and convert them. They're trying to get money from them, if there's some way of doing that. They have ulterior motives, basically. I mean, and I'm not saying that is a religious thing. I'm saying, unfortunately, that's human nature. Every organization, there is no organization by man that is 100% altruistic. It doesn't happen. If nothing else, you feel good because you're doing it. When I help somebody out and they can't, do anything back for me directly, they can't pay me or whatever, I still, feel good that I did it. And again, I mean, that's a fundamental human quality. Religion likes to take advantage of that. It likes to use the fact that we can help somebody, and if nothing else, they'll feel good about it.
And I think that creeds that have altruism as part of the creed are that's a good thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And certainly Christianity certainly has that as part of the creed, is to help one another. So it's a good thing.
And unfortunately, a lot of times I do see with these things that they have limiting factors, as in the religion is doing it, the religious group isn't doing it in such a way that it may not be helping to the best, in the best way.
Right. Another thing is being optimized, and is another way of saying it.
Exactly. I can't remember who it was. Sam Kinison. Not exactly the most
I don't know.
kindly comic ever to grace our stages, but he used to say, you know, why are we sending all this money to Africa and Ethiopia and whatever when he was around to help all these people get food? Why don't we ship them out to where the food is? And again, a lot of religious groups and other groups are just doing things in a relatively inefficient way. There could be better ways to go about solving the problems than just throwing money at the problem. So.
Okay, understood. Thanks for you guys' time.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for calling.